अथ अजन्त पुल्लिंग अकारांत शब्दः बालः बालौ बालाः बालं बालौ बालान् बालेन बालाभ्यां बालैः बालाय बालाभ्यां बालेभ्यः बालात् बालाभ्यां बालेभ्यः बालस्य बालयोः बालानां बाले बालयोः बालेषु हे बाल हे बालो हे बालाः. So the bala shabda is the akaranta, which means it ends with a bala. It ends with a bala. Right? Akaranta. It is a pullinga shabda. Now, how do you know if it is a pullinga shabda? That is because there are three ways of knowing a linga of a shabda. One is by a pratyaya, by knowing which pratyaya has been operated to arrive at this pratipadika. We will come to know which linga it belongs to, because a pratyaya will determine a linga. That is the first case. Second case is by knowing its usage, which means like when you say balan in a sentence, balan is unique to this model, and this model is classified as pullinga. So by looking at the form also you can come to know the linga of a pratipadika. That is by knowing the usage. For example, if a word exists like dimbhan, and you come across dimbhan in some part of literature, then you immediately conclude that dimbhan is the form of dvitiya vibhakti bahuvachana 2.3. So this occurs only in a pullinga shabda, so the dimbha should be a pullinga form. That is the second way. The third way is third way is no way at all. You have to only go by convention. Like by looking at a dictionary, will you come to know that a particular shabda, let's say like vriksha. So does it belong to the pullinga category or the napumsaka linga, is to be determined only by looking it into a dictionary. That's it. And the linga in Samskrita is majorly not dependent on the meaning itself. So here bala, here it is a coincidence that the bala means a boy is the masculine gender, so we call it the pullinga. That is not so in Samskrita, because the way a linga is determined is as follows. First of all, it depends on the pratyaya, like I said. Then it depends also to some part on the meaning, but it is not major. It's not a major factor there. So the depending on the pratyaya and depending on the meaning, a linga is assigned to a certain word. So here vriksha actually has been derived from a special pratyaya like sa, ksa pratyaya, and that ksa pratyaya always says its progeny should always be in the pullinga form. So the vriksha, which is a derivative of the ksa pratyaya, is always in the pullinga. Although the meaning of it is that it's a tree, and a tree we generally consider it to be the neuter gender because it is neither feminine nor masculine. But the Samskrita meaning is secondary to the dominance of the pratyaya. So the pratyaya always dominates the meaning. So depending on what the pratyaya says, the linga is so determined. That is one thing. Next is with the bala is the pratipadika, which belongs to the pullinga. Now this is called the ajanta. Ajanta means it ends with a, which is a swara. Ach means a swara. Okay, so how do we go about? First of all, you remember the tricks. The 2.1.2, 2.2, then 3.2, 4.2, 5.2 will be the same. 6.2 and 7.2 will be the same. And then 8.2, 8.3 and 1.2 and 1.3 will be the same. So if you remember this much, every time it would help you a lot. Next, you take the bala, which is the pratipadika, and you add the suffix. Now the suffixes will tell you which vibhakti under which vachana the Pratipadika is to be derived. Now all of that sup pratyayas will undergo so many modifications to finally end up as this. We are not going to go into the exact step-by-step derivations of those sup pratyayas. We shall only concentrate on all the ready-made forms. So we take the bala as the Pratipadika, and then now the question is, why is there a visarga? Why should you add a ma? Why should this change as ena? Is nonsensical in the context of grammar, because you should have Samskrita says that you should have a unique form for a certain vibhakti and a certain vachana. Unique not always, because you see here the degeneracy, you have a duplicate here, but overall Samskrita in the Ekavachana at least it says you should have a unique form for each combination of a row and a column, a vibhakti and a vachana. So the question why is irrelevant here. And so we have to just go about, take the predetermined forms and practice them. Bala ha, bala au. The pratyaya here is actually au. So you add a with au, it becomes balau itself. Then balaha. Bala is the pratipadika, and you add aha, it becomes the savarna dirgha sandhi, it becomes balaha. Here the vriddhi sandhi. Then you add just the ma, balam, balo again, balan, savarna dirgha again happening here. And then these forms are given as it is. They are conventional. Balena, balabhyam, balaihi. Now you see this balaihi is actually unique to the akaranta pullinga, because in every other word we get the bhihi here. Okay, we get the bhihi, but only here we get the aihi, balaihi. Then balaya, balabhyam, balebhya. Again you see here a. That is because you change the bala to bale somehow. Then balad, balabhyam, balebhya. Now even if we tell a derivation, the step-by-step derivation, there is no use, because this is unique. So it would be just learning some more steps of derivation, which is not going to help us as a model in applying into any other shabda, because the akaranta pullinga is unique. It is one of its kind. Then balasya, balayoho. Again you have bale here, like this bale, and it is followed by the pratyaya oho. When you do the yanta desha sandhi, right? A changes to I. Please go through the sandhi, swara sandhi, at least those playlists, to get a good idea. Then bala anam, you do the savarna dirgha, it becomes balanam. Bala I, guna sandhi, bale, bala yoho again. Then bala ishu, baleshu. Hey bala. Now you see the pratama vibhakti ekvachana was balaha with the visarga. The sambodhana hey bala. Okay, it is not hey balaha, it is hey bala, and then the same one. Please practice it well. Dhanyavadaha.